How are judges selected to sit on the bench? Well, it depends whether this is a federal judgeship or a state judgeship. First, let's talk about the federal level. Article 2 of the U.S. Constitution gives the president certain powers. Section 2 gives the president the power to nominate and, with the advice and consent of the Senate, then appoint judges to the federal bench. Now, if you're considering states, recall that each state has its own government and may set up its own methods for appointing judges to the bench. There are two dominant plans. The first is called the Missouri Plan because it was initiated in the great state of Missouri. It's also known as merit-based judge selection. That involves initially being selected by a commission or a committee set up under the state's government, and then often the recommendation goes to the governor, who can then make the appointment. Thereafter, commonly, the judge serves at least 1 year, and then at the next general election stands for a retention election, and only remains on the bench if the voters vote yes, that judge should continue as a judge. If they get a no vote, then it goes back to a new initial appointment by the nominating commission or committee and the governor. Thus, under the Missouri Plan or merit-based, it's initially an appointment followed thereafter by a retention election. The second most common and the minority view of putting judges on the bench is an election from the start. Arkansas follows this. These elections tend to be nonpartisan. Thus, when the person running for office is listed on the ballot, there is no party affiliation next to that person's name. How long do judges serve? Under the federal system, the Constitution, Article 3, which addresses the judiciary, says they shall serve for good behavior. So that could be for life or until they choose to retire. Additionally, the Constitution says that their compensation cannot be reduced while in office. So we have hopes of setting up an independent judiciary not influenced by outside forces. When we talk about the duration or term of office for a state court judge, it varies by state. And it also depends upon whether the judge is at the highest appellate court, a trial court, which level of court the judge oversees. Some may sit for 2 years, 4 years, 6 years, or 8 years before needing to stand for re-election, if that's allowed, if there aren't term limits.